All right, so this is the presentation for the white on black portraiture that we'll be doing in drawing two. What will we have to do? So we kind of have to think, like flip the way that we're thinking because we're going to be using white charcoal on black paper. And traditionally, most of us are kind of accustomed to drawing with a dark material like pencil, pen, whatever on white paper. But now we have to kind of flip it around. The same principles of value and light and shadow still hold true, except now you have to reverse it. You have to kind of go the other way. So it can be challenging, but I think it's really important so we kind of develop as artists. And we're going to start just by doing a simple value scale. So the darkest you're going to be able to go is with the black of the paper, which you see in box 9 over here. So the same would be true for doing on white paper. You leave that white spot white. That's the lightest you can go. Now we have to leave the darkest, the paper itself. And if the whitest, or the lightest, excuse me, being as hard as you can kind of scrub your white charcoal paper onto the black paper you see, and then the gradation in between. So you can do some light shading. You'll probably want to grab a blending stump or tortillon to help you smooth it. You can use your fingers. And what's nice about white charcoal on black paper is that it does erase fairly well. Not perfectly, but it works pretty well. So I have you start just by doing this simple exercise on a little piece of black paper. Do a 9-step value scale as you see on the top here. Draw some sort of box. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then just make a circle so that you can practice using some of your white charcoal and changing these. So you can see the value scales on the top. I just selected the light source for this one to go from the left to the right. So I had my lightest values on the top, and then where these are partially in shade or more in the shadow, I should say, a little bit darker with the cast shadow still being there. Really important to include a cast shadow, meaning that the tabletop itself, you have to add some value onto it, leaving the shadow darker. For the circle, which you'll turn to a sphere, I changed my light source. You don't have to. I had it coming from the right down. So you can see the reflected light, the core shadow. My highlight is up here, cast shadow down here, again on my tabletop. And this is just practice, getting used to playing with your white charcoal. Then you're going to draw a banana. So in class, I bring in bananas for you to draw. If you're watching this video because you missed that day, go ahead, just you can even just freeze your screen, take a screenshot of the banana here. We took some photos in class. We changed them to grayscale on our phones, and that's what we used to draw. So go ahead, take a screenshot of this, and that can be what you draw from. All right, so you've done your practice with your value scales. You did your practice with your banana still life. Now we have to start doing some practice with facial features. We're going to end up doing some emotional portraits, and what those look like are going to be kind of up to you. You are going to be the artist who takes the photo, and you are going to be the one that has to kind of decide what composition you're going to be looking for when you're going to set this up. So here's some of the criteria. You will be tasked with developing an idea for a portrait based off an emotion. Self-portraits or portraits, totally your call. Does not matter to me what you do. And then portraits must be of someone in this school because I want you to take it in our lighting studio. I'm calling it. It's really just a supply closet with a strong light. But that ensures that you're the one taking the photo and have a high contrast with lots of harsh shadows, which makes this project a little bit easier. What does that look like? These are some images I found online of the same project, same idea. So you can see a nice strong light on one side with the shadows cascading across the other way. This is showing the light shining from below. And then over the years, we've had students do this project. So this is Emily Gallus from The Office. This is her portrait. Theo, I believe last year did this one of themselves. Or like this because he got the shadows of the glasses or the reflection in the lens. Miss Glover, done by a student. And another student portrait right there. Really, really soft shading accomplished. So here's our fancy studio. You're gonna take your photo of whomever. This is me, of course, and you're gonna change it to black and white, giving you all of the grays in between, just like you did with the banana. And you're gonna have to go ahead and start um, drawing this the best of your ability. I'll have you watch this video at a later time. Okay, and before you even start drawing the final portrait, I want to give you some time to practice with just drawing facial features with the white charcoal. So we did a little bit of practice with the banana. I'm going to ask that you complete this worksheet with a nose, two noses, an ear, lips, and an eye. Just practicing. My intention when I created this worksheet was that you just draw this nose and this black spot. What happens is that the ink it becomes glossy, almost burnished, and you won't get that opportunity. So what I'll have you do instead is just grab some black paper and just draw each of these facial features on some separate black paper. You can do it on this black square, but your job is much, much harder. But I will ask that you finish this first prior to getting the paper to actually start your portrait for this project. As always, if you have questions, make sure you reach out. Thanks much.